Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life.
Welcome back to the Four-Legged Life Show. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now, our next guest is a true pet champion. She's a clinical pet nutritionist, and she is the Chief Nutrition Officer at Bow Wow Labs. Now, that's a cool name. And like Dr. Judy, who we just had on, she's on a mission to save the lives of pets from choking. So glad to have you on the show. Please give it up for Johnna Devereaux. Practice my French. Welcome, Johnna.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So I probably tell bad jokes that people say I choke on. That is no laughing matter, though, when you're talking about real things that can be put, our dogs pop in their mouth and there's a choking incident. Can you kind of identify maybe a few common and maybe a few did not know things that dogs may choke on?
Yeah. So, I mean, choking really is a more of a common occurrence than most people know. Over 200,000 dogs go to veterinary facilities every year because of choking. They can choke on things from like sticks that we all know about, balls, specific types of toys, bones, cat toys. A lot of us have multi-species homes, and we don't think about the fact that just because a ball is the right size for a cat or a toy is the right size for a cat, it's the perfect size to block a dog's airway and lead to a potential choking hazard. Let's just talk about this. Anything that goes in your dog's mouth potentially could be a choking hazard. So I say you should look around your house at what's lying on the floor, what's out and about when you're around your dog, and just have a different set of lenses on when you're looking.
Yes, it's like being a pet detective in a way, right? You're searching for uh-ohs from room to room. And, people come in and they visit with you. They drop something down on the couch. Their purse spills open. There could be a choking thing right in the purse, right?
Yeah. And if you have kids, I mean, there are a lot of small kids' toys that are the perfect choking hazard. And, I don't say this, that every single pet parent has a dog that's going to be mischievous and, put things in their mouth, but you should know your pet. Is your pet the kind that, like, they always smell with their nose first, but is your dog also the kind that then has to put their mouth on things to discover? I don't have a dog like that, so I can leave things around the house and not have that type of concern. But I feel like my dog is a rarity. Most dogs do kind of sniff and they put it in their mouth. And that's really when
how they investigate, right?
Yeah, that's how common occurrences cause problems.
You have a Lola as a dog and a Henry as a cat. Is that right?
Yes.
So they've been listening to this. They need you to say something nice about them.
Oh my God, they're the best babies in the whole wide world. They're my rescues. And I always have nice things to say about my pets. They are my world.
All right. Because of your background in nutrition, I mean, what we put in our mouth, if I'm a dog, is very important. But you also can shed some light on why dogs like to chew. Why do dogs need to chew? I mean, I used to chew my fingernails. I don't do that anymore. Bad habit. But what's the benefit of dogs chewing and also chewing the right thing?
Well, dogs' desire to chew is instinctual, right? That's how they would eat their prey. They'd be ripping and tearing and shredding and crunching down on bone. So it provides the benefits of, satisfying their instinctual desire. It also helps to massage the gums in their mouth. It helps as they're chewing to also scrape against the teeth to help remove the biofilm, the plaque that accumulates that then could potentially turn into tartar. A very little known fact is that the act of chewing actually releases serotonin. So it also makes them feel happy. So it gives them an extra perk in that aspect, and it provides mental stimulation. And Arden, more than anyone out there, in a training environment, mental stimulation is going to wear a dog out faster than physical exercise. So you're really giving them a multi-layered benefit when you allow them the opportunity to chew for more than about 10 minutes. So we're talking about a bully stick or a yak cheese chew or an antler, which is up to debate for some people, or a goat horn, or a raw bone, those types of things.
Yeah, and there are cautions because you don't want chipped teeth and you don't want that raw bone just marinating in your house or in the hot sun for 3 days, right?
Well,
A
right.
little
We
common
don't.
sense.
Well, so know your dog, right? If you have a smaller dog that has very bad oral care or oral health, or if you have a larger dog
Yeah.
that has a lot of oral health issues, you want to be very careful with the types of long-term chews you're giving them, because if the teeth are compromised, they may be more likely to chip or tartar or chip or I'm sorry, let me use my real brain. Chip or crack or fissure. So those are the things that you kind of want to think about. If you have a dog with an otherwise healthy um, oral cavity, then giving them different chews should be no problem. Obviously, with raw bones, there's different types of raw bones. A raw meaty bone is going to be like a non-weight bearing bone, which is providing a different type of benefit than if you were giving them like a marrow bone. But there is bacteria that will end up sitting there and festering. So, you give it to them, and then, when they're done, you would either throw it away or you can clean it and freeze it, but never cook a bone and give it back to your dog. Don't ever try to sterilize it by cooking it first, because you actually leach out the nutrients and minerals and it becomes very brittle. And that's when you could have shards that then go in and potentially might cause intestinal perforation. So you have to be careful.
So if I'm going to be on Jeopardy and the questions about bones, I'm going to have you in a microphone whispering the answers to me because you know your bones.
You're on.
No, that's good. And everyone, I got to see Johnna in action at the Global Pet Expo, which was held recently in Orlando. It is 7 football fields long. And she was at a booth. And like we had mentioned it earlier in the show with Dr. Judy Morgan, Johnna is here on a mission for a target zero. Tell us about what's happening on June 22nd.
So Bow Wow Labs, when we learned about the staggering statistic about how many dogs choke, and the fact that no one's talking about it, we decided to champion National Pet Choking Prevention Day. This is dogs and cats because both species can choke. Cats on window blind cords and other things, but they both can choke. So June 22nd is the day that we have sponsored and championed to basically bring education and awareness so that we can prevent this preventable occurrence. That's the good and bad part, is that you can prevent this if you take the right steps. And that's what we want to do, is help bring that down to zero choking.
I'll say it again, but I want you to please go to, what's the website for the choking prevention day?
Yeah, it's nationalpetchokingpreventionday.com, the shortest website address out there.
But it's a big topic, so it needs a big URL.
Absolutely.
And I also want you all to check out bowwowlabs.com. So what is Bow Wow Labs? We've got about a minute or so before the break. Tell people what that is.
Bow Wow Labs is an innovative company that started out with a foundational product called the Bow Wow Buddy, which is a safety device to prevent dogs from choking on that last bit of a bully stick or a long-term chew. And we have really kind of grown into this amazing company where we are innovating nutritious chews and treats, nothing like what's on the market.
And it started out just because, dogs don't have thumbs, let's just say it. They want to get that, they want to hold that last chunk of chew in place. And this Bow Wow Buddy, it's kind of got a screw twist can you briefly say what it does?
Yeah, so when dogs are chewing like a bully stick, for an example, they usually use their paws. And when they get down to that last inch, they no longer have the tactile ability to hold it in their paws, so they put it in their mouth. And then, being dogs and being opportunists, they just swallow it. And that's when the choking hazard comes into play. The Bow Wow Buddy safety device allows you to insert the bully stick and screw it down so that you can't pull it out, your dog can't pull it out, and most importantly, you're preventing choking on that last 1 inch or whatever that long-term chew is, because it allows them to put their paws on top of the device and chew down without ever getting access to that last inch.
Take that, Shark Tank. We got a real inventor here in the midst, and she is Johnna Devereaux. I'm practicing my French. She is there with Bow Wow Labs. We're going to talk more about this event, about keeping our pets healthy after we take this break. You know the drill. Sit, stay. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life Show. I am your host, Arden Moore. We're talking to Johnna Devereaux. She's with Bow Wow Labs. She is teaming up to help deal with choking in pets. We want to make it preventable. You want to get your target of 0 choking. We've talked about some things that dogs and cats can get into. And I did talk to Dr. Judy. She talked about the Heimlich maneuver. But have you had a situation ever where one of your pets was choking? It's got to be a little scary.
I did, and it was the most terrifying thing ever. So I was giving Lola a pig ear, and just with an asterisk here, right? My disclosure is that you should never, ever, ever give your dog any type of chew that when you're not in the room. If you can't leave the room knowing they've swallowed it, then don't leave the room. And so, practicing my own advice, I had given Lola and my boy Diego, who was with us at the time, pig ears. And somehow the pig ear, when she got it down to a small enough size, went flat right up against her airway. And of course, I was watching them as I diligently do. And I saw a very subtle change where all of a sudden she stopped, like moving her jaw. And then her eyes just moved really, they got really wide. And then I went running over to her. And luckily, I had taken a CPR, a first aid class for dogs. And I did the finger sweep. And luckily, my dog let me put my finger right in there. Just another reason, just as another side note, why you should always practice having your dog allow your hands in and around all parts of their body. She had no problem. I went in with a finger sweep and took the pig ear right out. She will never have another pig ear, not because of any reason that it gives me a little bit of a PTSD in the moment, because if I had not been home,
a pig STD
right,
or a PSD?
if I had not been home, Lola would not be with me today. So,
and you're driving home the point. It can happen in seconds. As you may know, I'm a master certified pet first aid instructor. We do teach the doggy Heimlich. We do teach CPR. But what you just said, I really applaud you. We also teach a head to tail, nose to toes, where we do wellness every week. And we're handling our pets so our hands are friends, not foes. And I applaud you, Johnna, for being there for Lola, and she's used to your hands. Yeah. So nice. That's a big deal, right?
It's a big deal in a variety of ways. I mean, even getting off topic here for a second with choking, if you have a tick that adheres to a dog in a sensitive area, you need to get that out. If they're used to you touching them everywhere, you're going to be more successful in removing that than having to have a traumatic event where you have to bring your dog to the vet and have potential whatever it might be. I'm a big advocate to make the hands friends 100%.
Well, I'm curious about your background. Did you start out, selling hot dogs in a movie theater? Were you a brain surgeon? How did you get into pet nutrition and then the Bow Wow Labs? Because, you're very, very well researched. I've always appreciated that in you.
Thank you. Well, I've been an herbalist for about 20 years, so I've always been in the world of the holistic, right? Looking at food as medicine. When I first adopted my boy Diego about 12 years ago, I was volunteering at an animal shelter. He was born when I was there, so I met him when he was 3 days old and fell in love, and that was that. Diego, when I was lucky enough to bring him into my home at 8 weeks, I had him on the best pet food. At the time, what I thought was the best pet food.
He's doing air quotes,
right?
Radio folks. Okay.
And what I realized was that he was having ear infections. He would get rashes, a litany of issues. And I worked very closely with a vet who said, switch food, try this. There might be allergies. Let's put him on medication, put him on steroids. And I was a pet parent the first time, right? So I did what I was told. And then about 6 months in, that part of my brain that's an herbalist and, thinking food is medicine was like, what are you doing, Johnna? Like, take a step back and let's look at that. Let's look at his food. Yes. And so I opened my first book on nutrition. And that was really the beginning of my journey. I realized how much I did not know. And I just devoured every book out there. And then I started taking courses to become, ended up resulting as being a clinical pet nutritionist for dogs and cats. And then I opened a store in Rhode Island, a holistic pet boutique and supply store, because I couldn't find any stores that had the products I wanted. So I opened that store about 9 years ago, and then I was called out as a trendsetter in the pet food space, in the pet marketplace. Um, and that is how I ended up finding, or Bow Wow Labs found me. And when they reached out to me telling me what this Bow Wow Buddy was and what it did, I said, there's nothing like that in the market. And I can tell you, I have customers come in every day saying, what can my dog chew on? But it can't be a bully stick because, I just had a $3,000 surgery because it was lodged in his GI tract, or because my dog choked on it. So this product really solved a problem. And that is something that I can get behind. So I've been really lucky to be able to work with them. And now we're formulating a lot of amazing new products that are going to be available this fall. And,
Can you give us a sneak peek, or do we have to?
No, yeah. So we have it's called the Ep52. It's a gluten-free, grain-free, longer-term chew that is chock full of functional ingredients. So we'll have one that supports hip and joint health. We'll have one that helps supports dental health. One's like an overall superfood. So we'll have a lot, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to provide all of the properties. Yeah, it's going to be epic. It's going to provide all of those properties about long-term chewing that I identified earlier, and provide all those benefits to your dog in a way that is completely palatable and good for them.
And, it's kind of cool to create a national holiday too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, years ago, I did create, I don't know if you know this, National Dog Party Day.
I didn't.
And I wrote a dog party book, but it was a party with a purpose. And we would raise money for small and medium charities. Then I got into the pet safety world. I can't party and be safe at the same time, apparently. But what do you think about being part of the team that's starting this National Choking Prevention? I'm butchering it. Say it.
National Pet Choking Prevention Day. I'm really proud. I'm proud as a pet parent. I'm proud as an advocate for animals. I'm proud of our company that, it's not free. You don't get to go out there and just say, I want a day. So they've invested time and man hours and money to help champion for other pet parents, right? To provide the education and awareness so that we can save all of the dogs and all of the cats, as many as possible, with the goal of all, because you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people never knew that the end of a bully stick or the end of a yak cheese chew could become lodged and become a choking incident. They learn that after their dog has choked. We want to teach you that before that happens, and then prevent it, so you can help your neighbors, other pet parents, and we all will just start educating each other.
I love it. What's a good food tip for people? When I teach pet first aid, I talk about what could happen, like mealtime mayhem or stress from eating too quickly because there's a silent smack talk going on in a multi-pet household potentially. But I never mention a brand of a food because I feel like it's such a touchy topic. You are in that topic because it's like talking religion and politics at the same time. I don't want a food fight. But what are a couple tips before I can't believe this segment goes by so fast. What are a couple things you could share that might turn a light bulb on in people about food for their pet?
Fresh is always going to be best, right? If you can, and I am not one of those people from a nutritional perspective that judges you on what you feed or don't feed. I say, let's look at your budget and let's see what you can do that fits your budget that can also then improve your dog's health. So fresh is always going to be best. If it's fresh food as a total diet, great. If you can't do fresh food all the time, then you can have maybe one fresh food meal a week, or you can add a fresh food element to the bowl every day. Fresh is, especially when we're talking about the digestive enzymes that kind of live in the meat or in the fruit or in the vegetables, that's helping your dog to digest the phytonutrients and other phytocompounds that are in vegetables, and nutrients that are antioxidants that are going to help to promote reduction of inflammation. Adding sardines, that's something that most people know about. Sardines in water without salt are going to be a great way to add omega-3s, which are extremely helpful in fighting inflammation. So even just adding an egg to your dog's diet every day can be helpful. Just fresh food is what I would impart on everyone as much as you can, with the disclaimer that if you're feeding fresh vegetables or fruit, you really should puree them up or put them in a juicer, because dogs don't have the ability to really start breaking down the carbohydrates in their saliva like we humans do.
We went from sardines to apples. Nice. I like it. I like it. Hey, everybody, I want to give a big round of pause and applause to our special guest. And we're talking to Johnna Devereaux. And she is with Bow Wow Labs. Go to bowwowlabs.com and also say that website again for June 22nd's big deal day for dogs and cats.
It is www.nationalpetchokingpreventionday.com. Please go there, sign up. We'll be sending out different pieces of information and just spread the awareness and education with everyone you know, please.
I love it.